Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Loop Hero. On our last run, we did not do ourselves any justice. We learned that reading is a very powerful tool, and that if you read the deserts, it lowers every creature's HP by 0.5% and the sand dunes lower them by 1%. Notice the key word here being every creature, or words rather. So we were lowering our HP pretty drastically. We also took Ancestral Crypt and they kind of bastardized each other. Have to learn as well that not all that glitters is gold. These golden cards seem to have pretty heavy drawbacks. They're not necessarily these overpowered cards as I was hoping they would be. So on our last run we took the rogue back into Act 2 and he died again. We've been having problems with the rogue so far, and I did say I was going to do a warrior run this time, but I've changed my mind. We have to restore pride to this rogue. Just restore this rogue's honour for Pete's sake. Also, cruelly, we're one stable metal off getting the smelter off that last run. We didn't die late enough to pick up 2 of them, so we can't build anything right now. Or at least anything new. We could build farms, we could build a mud hut to see what it looks like, and we can build the watchtower. But I want to pick up this smelter. So, without further ado, I'm going to go back to the expedition and we're going to change our deck again. We're going to take Ancestral Crypt out of it. I'm not too impressed by it. Then we're going to consider the other cards we can bring into our deck. I think I might bring Battlefield back in. Or do we do the opposite? Do we try and make Ancestral Crypt work? I don't know. I think Ancestral Crypt will work better with the Warrior. We'll do a Warrior run next time with Ancestral Crypt. They have a lot more healing abilities, so we can lean into that more. I think I'm going to take the desert out. I did say in the last episode that possibly taking at low HP, this 0.5% and 1% HP drops might be somewhat beneficial, but I think generally we have more HP than the enemy, so it's only going to really be useful against the boss. So I think I'm going to hold off on these for now. Again, we might play with them again. These effects that affect everyone equally is kind of hard to balance. I think the only real benefit we can have is being low enough HP that it doesn't really matter for us. Or we get to a point maybe in Act 3 where enemies' HP is outscaling us, so that these might be good early on. I think I'm going to leave the treasury out again. I could be undervaluing it, I don't know. Considering placing Bookery back in again, so maybe refresh our hands at the end of the game when we get cards we just don't want to place anymore. But I still think it's better to have quite a thin deck. We're trying Battlefield again. Chrono Crystals continue to be overlooked. Oh, and I still think I might overlook it. I guess there is a benefit to day effects. This is a loop effect though, so again it doesn't help here. Grove though would spawn more wolves, Cemetery would spawn more skeletons, and Ruins would spawn more Scorchworms. So it's potentially a way of making the game harder earlier on. Also, we're not playing as the Necromancer. I don't think Road Lantern is worth it. For the rogue, we can get damage to all, and we can get to a point where we almost one-shot enemies with high crit. So let's consider this. Shall we try Chrono Crystals? Maybe Chrono Crystals next to Ruins, because the Scorchworms aren't too hard. Let's try it. Chrono Crystals in. A lot of testing. Let's go. So we're taking Rogue again, going back into Act 2. Want to see the boss, get some stable metals if we can. Just don't die in a stupid and horrific way this time. And read what you're doing. This is also trying to restore a little bit of pride to me, to be honest with you. I was very disappointed with how the last few runs have ended. I don't think we've done ourselves any justice recently. So, Rocks, Meadows. You know the drill by now. We are making an Alps. And maybe eventually we'll make Mont Blanc on this side because we no longer have deserts. Blood Grove, I love it. Let's get a Grove, please, game. Again, on our last run, I think we could have survived had we got villages early on. We were a bit stuffed for villages. We only had one, I think, for most of the run, and then picked up a second one right at the end as we died. And they really could have, like, help see us through the early game. So I think for now I'm going to place it up here, and I'm going to try and get a vampire mansion. We also have Blood Grove, which we haven't got a great place to actually place this. We haven't got one of these like perfect knots as we have seen before. So I think I'm going to place this again round the camp, and I'll use that to help us play the ghouls here. Again, Act 2 is no joke. It is very difficult. We are currently getting like perfect cards, cards I'm asking for each time. So thanks game, you're at least trying to help me, even if I can't help myself. Chrono Crystals Runes, we said this was the combo we were going to try, so let's do it. So we want Chrono Crystals here, the runes here and the Chrono Crystals next to it, so it will spawn more Scorch Worms. And we're just not going to place an enemy tile here. Admittedly, we can get slime to spawn there, but we should be able to deal with single slime pretty comfortably. We're also picking up rations going through ruins. Quite interesting, not where I would get my food from. And we've got a sturdy stool. So 0.2 HP regeneration per second if the player already has regeneration. Nice, I guess, if you're into regeneration builds. We were talking about that with the crypt card, the golden crypt. I can't remember what it was. Ancestral crypt, was it? That maybe we lean into regen, so we don't need as much HP. They have a lot of HP regeneration, the warrior. And that would be nice with it. Hopefully we can also use the stool in our supply. We've got 8 trophies so far. Pick up a lot more trophies here as well, which should be nice. As I said, we want to make it as hard early on as possible, because we definitely out-damage enemies on the first run. So this is going to be a very tricky tile. Ghouls have Vampirism and can devour corpses, restoring HP. So this is quite a tough fight in terms of sustain, but Blood Grove is going to help us. Currently I'd say Blood Grove has been the best cards we've seen so far. Again, I could be a fool and just like misreading it, and maybe it's the worst card in the game, but we've really lent on it pretty hard so far during our playthroughs. So we picked up another Vampire Mansion. We could place a Vampire Mansion here. I think that it would be a bit too risky for now. So I might place one round the camp where it gets less effect. Blocks potential spawns. We've not seen the bosses, as I said, we don't know if it spawns palaces. This is a really tricky one because, as I said, in theory here would benefit us. We have Scorch Worms which are pretty easy already. It doesn't affect with Chrono Crystals. It's just a bit dangerous if we have a monster there that we'll have to deal with the vampire and then the bats as well. So I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to place it on this inside the loop, and we'll look at placing another tile in front of it. Loot Fountain Rogue as usual. If anything, our playthroughs of the Rogue have like been dopamine rich. So we have some level 3 boots, which are just better than these ones, so let's equip them. Gives us magic damage. Fine. We could have Rust, that's a make, and remember now max HP actually works for us because we haven't got Ancestral Crypts. Evasion versus Defense. I think I'm going to try Evasion again. Although so far Evasion hasn't really worked great for us. Crit damage chance and crit damage. And magic damage, so that's just better than having nothing in that slot. And we have a Spear, which we could trade for our axe, and I think I will. We have to remember the Rogue does have a synergy for having, I think it's 10% of having an effect on every single item. So we should look at that in the future, but I like to use my skills that we learn to try and like push into a certain pathway. So for example, if we get a skill that helps us with evasion, then we'll lean into evasion. If we had one for crit, we'd take a lot of crit chance items. So we've picked up another Ruins, which I'm going to place on the inside of this corner, and a Vampire Mansion that I'm going to place over here at the moment. We don't have to have things in front of the Vampire Mansions. Eventually we'll get Slime spawning there. Slime Vampire is a fine fight for us right now. More Ruins, so this is like an overload of Ruins right now. I think I'm going to place it here, so we're going to get Scorch Worms and Vampire. Let's make it a little bit more challenging this tile. And Battlefield is spawning chests at each loop, so it's not affected by Chrono Crystals. So we shouldn't put them next to each other. However, do we want to fight the ghosts? We could place it here, but that would make an incredibly challenging tile. I think for now, I'm going to just play it safe and place it up here. So we should get the chests, but we have no enemies to spawn ghosts off. Again, we can change that in the future. So we now have 4 Scorch Worms because of Chrono Crystals, but this is not a hard fight for us, so we're getting multiple trophies. The problem is the trophies aren't exactly good trophies. Here we've been unlucky, a Scorch Worm spawned behind us, so we had an artillery in that fight, but we've dealt with it pretty fine. Again, here come our Alps in the top left, so basic set strategy right now. Sorry. And I'm going to put the skeletons by the Chrono Crystals. Let's get 2 skeletons today. Again, big risk, but if we push our risks well enough, we should out-damage the enemies. That is the logic I've taken for each playthrough so far. So immediately we've got the skill up, let's see what it is. So we can get our good boy Ratwolf. We could get a full hand of Oblivions, or we get HP for adjacent roadside tiles when passing a tile. This would have been really good on the last run. I'm taking Shadow of the Forest. I love my good boy Ratwolf. He is the goodest of boys. And he takes damage from me. That's why he's the goodest of boys. So, placing all these down, we have now got an additional grove that I'll place here for the vampire spawns. And let's continue. So, single slime and vampire. Obviously you have to deal with the bats as well. Bit difficult now, but not terrible. I could also place a grove here, but as I said, this would be very dangerous. So I could grove Chrono Crystals somewhere else, but that could also give us 2 flesh golems now that I think about it. Do we want 2 flesh golems? Now there's a decision. I don't know for now. What I think I am going to do though is place 2 battlefields together, which makes this blood path. And let's see what these, I can't remember if they're called blood slimes or blood clots, something along those lines. I don't know if we've seen their ability yet. But they also give decent loot out from what I remember. Place another meadow over here. And I would like to place this grove tile down, and I'm going to place it here. Another nice place for a blood grove. So as usual, early loops going pretty nicely so far. No real difficulties. Haven't really got a good place to place this meadow, so I'm not going to right now. But this could be a tricky tile for us. Right before the camp, I think. Or was it right after the camp? Either way, we're at decent HP to tank a few hits. Our evasion's pretty good as well right now, so... yeah, it was just before the camp. Another loot fountain, and we've got some pretty nice loot there. We did make it pretty difficult, as I said, so not surprised. Let's see where the goblin camp's going to spawn. I will spawn it. I don't want it down here, so goodbye. Another meadow. And we have a grove. We have to remember on the grove as well that the mobs can move over tiles. So I can't really place it... well, I could place it here actually. But I can't place it here because they could spread onto this tile. Difficult decision again. This would be bad. I think I might place it on the inside of this corner. Yeah. Or place it here, try to get some ghosts. Maybe they give some better loot. It's a bit risky, we're making this top bit a little bit challenging. I'm going to place it here. It's potentially in the effect of Battlefield if one spawns here, and I can put Blood Grove here to help deal with these tiles. I think that's fine. And let's just quickly look at our loot. So evasion bonus, evasion bonus, evasion bonus, and magic damage. So we could potentially start to look at the synergy here for evasion bonus. We have it both on 2 Dirks at the moment. I don't know if you get the bonus for the 2 weapons being the same as well. And let's look through our boots. So this has evasion on it as well. So this should give us a massive evasion chance, right? So we're on 40% evasion. So 8, 18, 25, and 35 bonus. So I'm not sure how we get into 40. But either way, less hits is good for us. And we don't have any better armor right now, so let's carry on. So, opening chest, not a mimic. Okay, I was wondering how the chest was working. I assumed we'd get the loot, but actually I don't think it gives us a trophy either. So maybe battlefields are actually terrible for this character. But again, everything's a learning experience. I should have noted this down because I think we have taken battlefields out with the rogue before. Again, a bit of a misplay from the starter screen, I suppose. So 2 Scorchworms are fine. And 2 slimes should be fine. We pick up a cemetery. Again, I don't really want to place a cemetery here because of the Scorchworms. So I'm just going to place it in the mid part of a loop somewhere. Maybe even placing it here, actually. Yeah. So this is going to be affected by battle. This could be a difficult tile. Definitely want the next blood growth to go here. I think I'll leave this one for now. And I'm going to place in the meadow. We can make it a retroactive blooming meadow, I suppose. There's no reason to hold it now that I think about it. And indeed, we get the rocks to convert it. And everything's going quite nicely so far. 4 potions again, which is great. More sustain. These 4 bloodworm tiles, or scorchworm tiles, seem pretty easy for us. Although unfortunately in the moment they keep spawning behind us, so we might take some damage off the artillery here. Oblivion is a card I like to see. What am I looking at Oblivion next? Or next village will spawn a bandit camp. I don't want to deal with the bandit camp. So currently we haven't actually picked up any stable metals. We have some scrap metals, which I think is actually enough for us right now to build the smithy. So let's not die and ruin that. I have some chrono crystals. Again, this is very interesting. I'm going to place it over here. Get more scorchworms here. We seem to be able to deal with 4 scorchworms just fine. Again, another fairly simple tile for us. We're pretty comfortable right now that we're not playing some deserts to reduce our own HP. The game is much, much more stable, at least. So we're about to get a day spawn. Oh, and then we've got a level. So pickpocket, a 50% chance to steal a resource shard from an enemy when countering. So currently we can't actually get anything off that because we don't have counter. 3 HP after every kill, again lowering nice last run, or lowers the quantity of items received on the camp tile by 3 while increasing the quality. We want to see the boss, that's what our goal was. We want redemption. I'm taking picky. We want as good items as possible. So I'm going to go into planning after this just to place some of these tiles down. Like so. And we've got another ruins. I think I'm going to place it here. We really would like to see some villages because I want to dot villages before the ruins. And I want to Oblivion one of the bandit camps that spawns. So this is a bit of a tricky tile for us. I think we'll be fine. We have 4 potions and most of our HP. We're also attacking Flash Golem, which is great for us. He's definitely the highest damage source from there, and hopefully he'll give some really good trophies. Especially now with that item that we just picked up. Or a skill, sorry. Again, placing rocks down, and we're nowhere near spawning the boss right now. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky tile for us. We have such high evasion though, that it's really helping to protect our HP. And we have to consider whether or not the loot that we're just about to get, and here's our loot fountain again, is worth breaking that synergy up for. We have boots here that just have higher evasion. And for now, I think they will be fine. So 12% evasion. Yeah. Yep. We're also looking at changing our armor. This would break the evasion bonus synergy, but it's so much higher HP that I actually think I'm going to do it. We can't really have level 2 armor right now. And now that we've done that, I'm more happy to break the weapon synergies. So this is a lot more damage, but we'd be trading off the evasion bonuses, as we said. And has counter, but we didn't take that skill. This has evasion bonus on it, and more damage, so we will definitely put this on something, and it has a bit of defense. Which one should I put it on? The Dirk with 13 attacks, so it's that one. Let's trade. So our final question, I guess, is would we trade like 7 more damage? It's not quite 7 actually, because the max damage, the low damage, sorry, is only increased by 5. We lose a lot of evasion, so 10% evasion, and currently our evasion is 32%, so 1 in every 3 attacks aren't hitting us. But we would be doing more crit damage. We haven't got great crit chance. I think I'm going to leave it as it is and not equip this. If we had a high crit chance, I would definitely equip this. But I don't know if 7 damage there or thereabouts, maybe 6 damage when you take the low damage roll as well, is worth it when you do 13% counter. I know I have also logic that counter is effectively a double damage because you're attacking on their turn. But I don't have counter on any other equipment, so it'd be pretty unlikely get right now. So let's keep going. Again, that might be a misplay. We have got a ghost. We've dealt with the ghost. It did give us a trophy as well. Ghosts appear to have like a stun ability when they die. I think we did read up on it a few episodes back. Blood clots were what they were called. So they have submerged. Goes underground after every 2 strikes and they can't be targeted. So that's very annoying. They also hit pretty hard. They don't hit pretty hard, sorry, they hit pretty quickly, more to the point. I'm hoping for good loot off it. Also, we've unfortunately targeted the chest here. Would have been much better to target the enemy. But we have no control. But yeah, we're taking quite a chunk of damage in what's not too difficult a section right now, so a bit disturbed by that. But we should be fine right now. Also, our village became a council land, so that's going to be a big HP boost before the camp. Not a great place for it, I suppose, but hopefully it'll mean like every loop we start on full HP. It would probably be nice to get it down here if we could, but we didn't, so let's not worry about it now. Again, I'm going to place a cemetery, I think, here in the Chrono Crystal land to make this a harder tile. Just gone over 50% of the way to spawning the boss. And things, as I said, looking fine. But with the rogue, we found out that looking fine can soon change into dying. But we have a lot of HP to leverage. So I'm not too worried right now. That was a misplay, but it's fine. We're probably coming up to spawning a goblin camp. Oh, we did spawn the goblin camp, actually. Again, I didn't notice this. I should pay more attention. Fortunately, I could Oblivion and remove the other goblin. So that fight could be a bit tricky, but I'm happy to use Oblivions at the moment on goblin camps. I kind of also want to leave a tile around here free, just because I want to see if the boss does spawn more rubbish that we have to deal with. My guess is that they will. And currently they could spawn in 4 tiles, so I should start placing stuff around here. In fact, I'm going to place a cemetery here to stop that very thing. So 4 Scorchworms should be an easy fight for us. As I said, in these close range battles, they're a great enemy to fight. I don't know how the class is difficulty, but they're pretty easy. By difficulty I mean in terms of the quality of the trophy we get off them. If we are getting like really good quality trophies, then I think this synergy of the Chrono Stones and the Scorchworms is actually viable. So we just picked up 2 more Chrono Stones, or Chrono Crystals, sorry. Do I want to place these anywhere right now? I could place it here to affect the worms. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Not sure where to place the next one though. That I will admit. They presumably stack, but we're already fighting the maximum number of Scorchworms on any one tile. So I think I'm just going to hold it. So this is an annoying tile. Scorchworm is hitting us at the moment for 12 damage a hit, and we cannot target him. And these skeletons have an ability that effectively mean they can take more damage, so prolonging the fight, and 2 of them did proc that effect. Bit of bad luck, I suppose, but we can live with it. So we've picked up another battlefield now that I'm just going to keep placing in a line over here to make blood clots or whatever. I'm going to always call them blood clots now. I already can't remember what they are. As I said, my short-term memory is dreadful. So, unfortunate spawns there to face the artillery of 4 Scorchworms, or 3 Scorchworms I think. But we have just levelled. So resource cap goes up. Every 10% of lost HP gives you a 0.5% chance to instantly deal 1,000 damage. Or 10% chance to simultaneously attack 2 targets. Every 10% of lost HP. So every time we lose 100 HP, we have a 1 in 20 chance of doing 1,000% damage. Obviously that would be insane against the boss, but it's so unlikely that I think the 1 in 10 chance of doing double damage is better. Probably this is better for ads and this is better on the boss. I don't say that we should normally build to beat the boss, but I need some more survivability, I think. Picked up another Oblivion, just what I want to say. Just going into planning to make sure I can place these tiles down accurately. Where do I want to place this vampire mansion? Great question. Where do I want to place it? Probably... I could place another one up here, actually. Yeah, let's place it in the corner here. Doesn't really affect... In fact, they don't overlap in this one, so these two don't really affect one another. That's fine. I can live with that. And we save Oblivions for now. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how the card rarity works, because it does feel like we get a lot less Oblivions than any of the other cards. And villages, for example. We've only seen 2 villages now. So this village is going to spawn a camp, a bandit camp, and we're just going to immediately Oblivion it. And we're going to spawn this here. And immediately, I do not want that there, so goodbye. We picked up another Blood Grove. I think I said I was going to put one on the inside corner here to help deal with these blood guys. It's Blood Clot, so yeah, I think I was right. Rock. Oh, that was very bad timing. Again, I would sort of wish it statted it up somewhere to just to see how many of those had placed. Because I would have held off placing, but now that we haven't, let's just live with it. Live with our mistake. And the grove for now, I think I'm just going to place... Here's fine. As I said, we're coming around to complete another loop. And we should get a pretty good loot. Just quickly going to see if I can place a battlefield somewhere else. I think I just continue to knock these along one another. Don't know if opposite sides actually matters. Nope, it didn't put one there. That's kind of interesting. I thought it would have moved one down, but I guess these have to be adjacent for that to affect. It's not just an overlap. And another cemetery. I might hold on to this cemetery for now. The next loop is going to be very challenging. Again, great target selection from us. Good old Rat Boy has died. We're one hit off killing the Flesh Golem. And I think we evaded his attack. We're now going to heal a lot, hopefully back to full. Would I like to place another Grove down? Yep, that's fine here. And I might even place a Vampire Mansion here. I'm holding on to these Chrono Crystals for now. Quickly, let's look at our loot. So we have some level 7 armor. So attack speed up, or defense. That's defense down actually, but HP up. Does extra magic damage, or crit damage up, counter up. I think I'm going to take this armor, but I don't think this is a great selection for us, to be completely truthful. 7% chance to counter. I mean, it's not a lot, but yeah, let's go with it. Level 7 Dirk, which looks like we should equip it for our other Dirk. In fact, we have 2 Dirks at the moment. We should probably trade it on the one with evasion. It's just better than it. And it's a big damage up. So it's, yeah, that one. Goodbye. And then we have boots. Crit damage chance up, attack speed down, evasion slightly down. When we lose damage as well, I think this is an okay trade. Critting more obviously means we're doing more damage. This is just worse, so I think we hold on to everything else. That wasn't as great a step up as I was hoping for, I'm not going to lie. We are on loop 5 now. We're approaching boss time, maybe 75% of the way there. But really, we want some villages right now. I think that's what our missing ingredient is. Just dotting villages around our loop. We could, I suppose, put chrono crystals in places as well that don't benefit us to spawn the boss. Sadly, we don't get anything off the chest. Maybe we do if it's a mimic. We would also like to keep attacking the blood pot first. Nice. Nice, a village as well. Just what I wanted. So I'm going to place a village here as well now. We won't get a bandit camp spawn. Fortunately. I can't place a grove here or here. Or here, really. Maybe I place one here to just block some goblin spawns, but it's a bit risky, this. I'm not going to lie. I'm also considering placing chrono crystals on this loop. Just in a place that doesn't affect the goblins, to just make sure that the goblins get blocked from spawning. I think that is a very high IQ play, but could backfire. It's either big brain or a small brain. I can't work out which one it is. Just take a sip of water again. Always important to hydrate on these, especially longer loops that we're getting on now. So let me go back into planning after this. Place a lot more mountains down. Again, we're doing pretty well. Our HP is pretty nice right now. Could be better. And let's start our Mont Blanc in the top right that we talked about. Again, I guess there's an argument to be made for holding our cards, but I'd rather spawn the boss, I think, with these environment tiles right now. Our loop is hard enough. And I say that, but I would love to place this village down. But it'd be such a dangerous place now. I really need an Oblivion because I'm going to get a bandit camp. And if I get a bandit camp on any of these three, it would be terrible news for us. If it went up here, and I'm not sure it can do on the council lands, that would be fine. So it's about a 75% chance of being horrible. So I'm not risking 75% chance of horrible. I have another Blood Grove. And I think the best use of it I can get is here. We have another mountain, which is great. So I'm going to hold onto the village for Oblivion. I think that is the play. I'm also in theory looking for some vampire mansions to block potential structure spawns when the boss spawns. So I would be placing them around here. I might even use battlefields for that, but again, it's a bit risky. But so far, this looks pretty nice. Again, our Wolf Rat is a real MVP of this run. Yeah, this is a very tricky tile. This isn't what I want. So these spawn just behind us as we pass through the tile. And now just freely doing like 20 odd damage, maybe even higher now, maybe 30 damage at this point of the run. And it's something we can't really avoid. I mean, we can, we have evasion I suppose, but we can't fight back. Okay, Oblivion is perfect. The exact card I was hoping for. So let us do our play again. Village here, and it didn't spawn on one of the bad ones, and just get rid of the goblin camp. Unfortunately, we just went through the tile, I suppose. We could have got another quest, but I can live with that. You have to remember Blood Grove also affects us. Just need to be a bit careful on that. But yeah, things right now are going nicely. Flesh Golem just spawned in time here. Could be very difficult. He almost one-shots our Rat Boy now. What's he on? 72 damage per hit. It's pretty spicy. But no match for us right now. Get some more meadows. If you didn't watch the last episode, I did try this 3x3 grid of meadows. It does nothing. saves you from trying it as well. I popped a potion then. It's fine using one potion or even 2 potions. We get 2 on the loop completion. And indeed we have popped another one now, but we are starting to hemorrhage HP a little bit. We'd very much like to hold on to this other one. So, can't place these meadows yet. Let's place a mountain first. Meadow. We have a blood grove. What is the best place for this blood grove? We could use it to help us in the next fight, actually. Or as I said, we could put a grove in front of here. I don't really want to. In fact, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to place a grove here and a blood grove here. It only affects 2 tiles, so it's not actually great value, but it'll help us with each of these individual tiles. And killing scorchworms fast is pretty nice. I think I'm happy with like 4 scorchworms plus a flesh golem. Although I'll get a vampire as well, so I don't know what blocks what spawns, as I said. We have another battlefield, and we did mention that we were considering putting a battlefield up here. And I think I will do. Potentially to block a boss spawn here. I don't know if he does it. We've never found out. And finally, one last meadow. I can't make it blooming right now without breaking my synergies of mountains. So I'm just going to place it on the side. We can retroactively do it anyway. So we completed our quest. Didn't drink a potion then, interestingly, despite the fact we dropped below what I think is the limit. Again, spawned a goblin camp that I didn't mean to, and it's in a very bad place. So Oblivion would be lovely right now. It's so bad, in fact, I think I'm going to try my drastic chronocrystal strategy, and I've now accidentally spawned the boss. Okay. So it's incursion. So it hasn't spawned stuff around here, which is nice to know in the future. I have now placed a battlefield next to it though, which is a bit worrying. Radiates with powerful energy and devours space and time itself. Well, we have no choice but to be ready for it, I guess. Yeah, there's so much to look at in this game. Hoping we get the 49 trophies so that we can level up quickly. I'm just going to hold on to the meadow for now. This is a very tricky tile for us there. 2 goblins. We really wanted the leader to die first. And we have killed him. The bats are potentially blocking spawns, and now we just need to go for the bleed targets and then finish off these last 2. God, please give me a trait that just gives me HP. 7% less damage for every enemy. Fighting against 3 or more enemies will grant you an additional trophy. Not useful anymore. Less damage, please. Okay. That was scary. A day is about to pass. I think I'm now in a situation that I just want to place anything that can give me HP down. But I'm not too hopeful right now. Hopefully we'll get more HP. We have that great village coming up, but I think we might die before it. Oh, we're gonna die again. We just lived. Okay, we have to Oblivion something. Oh. The problem is if we Oblivion here, I think, but we have to be careful of that blood grove. It devours enemies that have less than 15% HP. It will change to 20, but I think it affects everything. So, I say that we should Oblivion that. We should Oblivion here when we get onto this tile. Because otherwise we might get devoured on that tile. That is the play. And anything that will give us some HP. Currently, Ratboy has to do tremendous work for us. So right, I can't afford to lose the HP, have to Oblivion. Turn this into a Hungry Grove, that's fine. Occasionally attacks the hero for 20 damage, but we have none in that battle. I guess as well I could spawn a Ruins immediately. The days are going to pass and I'll get an additional 1 resource of rations. Do I want rations? Yeah. So we're only going to have 160 HP, but we've at least seen Act 2's boss. Could you please stop? So it's you who's responsible for all this mess. Stop doing what? Stop doing all this. Resisting. Fighting for the old world. He will erase everything anyway. I'm sorry, but that's how it must go. So a mysterious mysterious him again. I expect that you're not coming to explain who you are talking about. Why would I? Why wouldn't I? I'm talking about God. ... He created myriads of stars, galaxies, and... what am I saying? He created everything. And now he's destroying his creation. That's the most nonsense I've ever heard. And trust me, I've heard a lot of nonsense. Why would God want to destroy the world? That's what you would call a silly question. Do you think we have a right to discuss God's motives? He's God, for God's sake. If he decided it, then it has to be done. That means that there is a cause and a meaning to it. Instead of showing him your rage and anger, you should thank him for the life you've had and spend the time that's left saying goodbye to the universe. No, wait, that's not right. If all that is true, then why am I still able to resist? Why am I able to restore this world piece by piece? It's very slow, but I'm still able to do it. Does this mean that your God is having second thoughts? Or is he a God at all? If I can go against his will? These are just empty words. You're simply trying to find a reason to say your unimportant no. I feel sorry for you and for this world, but your efforts are worthless. You can't stop God's harvesting scythe with a single blade of grass. I shall end you personally, by word or by force if needed. Well, maybe a blade of grass won't stop a scythe, but it can get into your shoe and hurt. You know, metaphors are really not my thing. Let's see if your God is truly protecting you. So let's hover over. So this boss is Priestess. They have 966 HP. Wow. And they're hitting for 110 damage, so we're only going to survive 2 hits. Rat Boy has spawned when we needed him the most. She has Will of the Heavens, summons an angel instead of an attack that disappears after dealing 2 attacks. So unlike the previous boss, it's not just one enemy. And he has Iconostasis, creates a stained glass window instead of every second attack. Has a 20% chance to be protected by one of the windows. And he has a 100% chance to be protected by a window, so we can't hit him until we destroy these windows. Okay, this fight doesn't look great for us. Still, it's the first time we've seen this boss. We have damaged him as well. That is a success at the moment. Ratboy is doing a lot better than I thought he would do. We're still 1 hit away from dying. I'm amazed we haven't died yet. I should look at these angels, so they're invincible and can't be targeted. So they just get free hits in regardless of what happens. And we're dead. So we've lost these 2 items again. So be it. We have the stable metal now. And we found out what the Act 2 boss is. So it's Priestess. They summon ads and mirrors that protect them. So it looks like in this fight, damage to all might actually be incredibly important. And the ability to sustain. So I'm thinking again the warrior might be an incredible use, has incredible use for us because he has both of the things. Damage to all is available to the rogue, but we haven't seen it too much I think on this run. And we have real difficulty sustaining. We only have our 5% vampirism at the moment. So we lose 30% of our resources. We lose the sturdy stool, which I would have quite liked. Minus pick I don't really care about. But not terrible. Again, a rogue continues to be the character that dies. I think he's died now 3 or 4 times. Let's look at our build, and we can build a smelter finally. Where do I want this smelter to go? I guess not in the tile that breaks something. Oh, that's a nice anvil bearded friend. Yo ho ho, what a nice smelting barrel. Throw in some more coal, scrap metal away. Hey lad, you know what's the secret of sturdy armour? It's sturdy body beneath it. Ha ha ha. I can make everything sturdier, even a simple shirt or some socks. Which do you prefer? You'll travel far under a sail like this. No storm will stop you, and you'll know why. because the storm will be on your side, laddie. Okay. So what was this exactly doing for us? Unlocks the Storm Temple card and unlocks the Arsenal Golden card if the Intel Center is built. It is built, and plus 30 to base HP. We haven't seen why this is important yet, but I suspect it is very important, and we're going to find out soon. Sorry, let's go into the expedition to look at these new cards. So Arsenal is a gold card, so it creates an additional item slot and lowers items quality by 15%. That feels like a worthwhile trade. Every character so far we've had has 4 item slots, so an additional item slot is like 25% extra of a stat, so lowering the quality by 15% feels like a good deal for us. So I think we'll try Arsenal on the next battle, or expedition, sorry. And Storm Temple strikes 2 random targets in its range with lightning. Every 5 seconds, lightning cannot be evaded. Effects of multiple temples can stack. Place of worship for the ancient god of lightning. His name is long forgotten. So this would be, I presume, good. So this is going to go on an adjacent tile, not on the actual road. So I think this would be good to place against a lot of enemies spawning. So we want tiles that spawn multiple enemies rather than a tile that spawns a single enemy at a time. Either way, we'll try it, I think, next run. Chrono Crystals, I think, is out. Ruins, I think we can keep in. I'm just considering putting Spider Cocoon back in, because Spider Cocoon Storm Temple potentially has a little bit of a synergy. Just because Spider Cocoon spawns a lot of simple ads. It's hard to say. You sort of want to have multiple cards just to see what everything does. I think we will take Warrior next time, as I said. So Warrior can get the benefit of Battlefield. We shouldn't take Battlefield with Rogue. It doesn't actually work very well. We don't get anything off the chest, I presume, unless it's a Mimic. So it was a misplay to place this in. But we've seen the Act 2 boss. It was a mistake. I didn't intend to spawn him. But now that we did, we at least survived long enough to see what his deal is. Damage to wall presumably is going to be really important because we have to attack his mirrors first. And I think you're spawning 5 mirrors at a time. So we either have to attack incredibly quickly or just hit everything and just sweep them out at once. Otherwise, we're going to do very little damage. But I think for now, that's going to be all to this video. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. As I said, this session's been a bit disappointing. We've died quite a few times. A lot of misplay, so I'm hoping on the next recording session, I'm going to clear up my act. I'm going to focus on what's going on. Pay more attention to everything I'm doing and not just slap cards down willy-nilly, as I was doing a little bit, I think, today. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, ring the bell, do everything you can. Everything that, every little that helps to support the channel is very much grateful. And I'm going to see you next time. Goodbye.